Not to be a fake fan, but I will literally stop watching Shane Dawson if he's going to try and sit here and make me feel bad for Jake Paul. That man deserves absolutely no sympathy for what he's done. Does it really have to be about him? Can't you make one with Emma Chamberlain or something? I'm like very disappointed that this is the person you've decided to make another series on. My Shane Dawson phase is cancelled. Well, it does appear, my friends, that we have another good old traditional YouTube shitfest on our hands. So I think today we're going to sit back and we're just gonna spill that tea. Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to another video on YouTube.com. Now, I don't know if you guys have realised, but in the recent years of YouTube, there has been a massive spike of controversy. There seems to be YouTube drama absolutely everywhere. Drama on the internet is something that's just constantly circulating throughout YouTube. You really can't escape it. It's going to be absolutely everywhere on the website at this point, especially in the last year, where two brothers have really changed the entire environment of this platform. And these two brothers really don't need any introduction whatsoever, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. One of them is the boxing machine himself, Logan Paul, and the other brother is the world-renowned rapper, Jake Paul. Now, regardless of what you think of these two brothers and their success on the platform and how they gained it, I think we can all sit back and agree that these two boys have done some messed up shit in the last year. From falsely accusing people of assault, to bullying, to being extremely fucking ignorant in front of other people, to going into certain places you probably shouldn't go. These two boys have really done it all. But despite all of the controversy that goes around about these two, they have both managed to pretty much accumulate a massive fan base, with Logan Paul having 18.5 million subscribers and Jake Paul somehow having around 17 million subscribers. And to be honest, these two always do seem to be competing with each other, so they're constantly getting themselves into drama to gain more popularity. And right now, Logan Paul definitely is the most popular person, but we're not going to be talking about Logan today. We're going to be talking about his counterpart, Jake Paul. Now, Jake is somebody who is widely disliked throughout the platform, and in my opinion, this is mainly because he does a lot of irritating things on purpose and just in general tries to be center of attention. And you can see that over time his audience have begun to realize that when you take a look at his videos and the amount of dislikes they now get per video. And Jake is somebody that has really been exposed more than any other person on YouTube. I don't think he's particularly liked in any YouTube community, from the vlogging community to the storytime community. The only people that really have his back at this point is his own fan base. So when Shane Dawson came out and announced that he's doing an 8-part series with Jake Paul, it was quite controversial. Shane is somebody that has come a long way on YouTube. In 2010, from when he was doing his skit-based videos, and in 2014, when he was doing his food videos, I think he's endured a lot of tests and in general, a lot of challenges. But this series he's announced is no doubt going to be the toughest challenge he's ever had to face. And I think that is quite clear when you take a look at some of the reactions on Twitter and on Instagram. A lot of people don't seem to be very happy with Shane and this series. So I think the question that really needs to be addressed is, why are people so mad at Shane Dawson despite not one episode actually being out yet? And to me and a lot of others, it does seem at face value quite ridiculous that people are mad, but I do believe there is some context that does need to be addressed in this situation. And the main context being that Jake Paul is pretty much the most problematic person on YouTube. I don't think there's ever been anyone to come out of the vlogging scene that has created as many problems as Jake Paul has. I honestly do believe that every single day since the summer of 2017, there has been an exposed video made on Jake Paul, and that is a really good representation to see how bad this guy actually has been in the last year. But the thing is, with these exposed videos being made on Jake Paul, they are very different to a lot of other exposed videos and hate videos, because with YouTube, a lot of YouTubers do seem to make exposed videos and hate videos just to hate or just to have a laugh, but with Jake Paul, there are actually some valid reasons to why people get upset with him. I mean, there are actual web pages dedicated to the timeline of Jake Paul and his controversy. How many YouTubers can say that? So with people getting upset at Shane Dawson, I can kind of understand where they're coming from, because I think a lot of people are just in general worried that Jake Paul is going to get unneeded attention. Because let's face it, right now, Shane Dawson is the most popular YouTuber. Maybe not in terms of subscribers, but when you take a look at his views are better than nearly every other YouTuber's. Some of the videos in his last series hit 20 million views. And when you go over to Jake Paul's channel and take a look at his views, it really does show that Shane Dawson definitely is more popular than him right now. So given Shane's massive rise this year, I think it's quite understandable and natural for people to be worried that basically Shane Dawson is going to benefit Jake Paul's career. Now, there are multiple reasons for that belief, and the main one being that Shane Dawson is just naturally an extremely nice guy, and we've seen that in previous videos. He's somebody that appears to enjoy clearing the light on certain situations, and just in general, giving people deeper understandings on certain events, such as TanaCon, or even his Jeffree Star series, in which he helps people have more of an understanding of Jeffree Star's negative past. So I think the general worry is that people think that Shane Dawson might create some form of sob story and make us all feel sorry for Jake Paul. Now, what I'm here to do today is basically explain why that isn't the case, and why I personally believe that this Shane Dawson series is going to be something that we really didn't expect. And I know what a few people who probably aren't even subscribed to me are going to say at this point. They're going to be like, oh, Nabber's being nice to Shane Dawson again. Nabber looks up to certain creators. You know, I don't get this vibe on YouTube of where people actually get upset that people talk positive about another YouTuber. Recently on my channel, I have been trying to be more positive and say good things about other creators that genuinely deserve it. And I feel like in certain situations with people like PewDiePie and Shane Dawson, I am valid to do that. So now we've got that over and done with, let's just get into it. Now, the main reason I believe that Shane Dawson is going to be quite harsh on Jake Paul comes from the teaser trailer he dropped a few days ago. And I'm just going to roll the clip now.
What are you worried about the most?
I think he's gonna be mad when he finds out what this series is actually about.
Shane says in this that he's worried that Jake is going to be mad at him, and if Jake's going to be mad, then surely this series isn't exactly positive about Jake Paul. And to be honest, I think we can all work out that this series isn't going to be all nice and happy when you take a look at the title of the video, The Mind of Jake Paul. Because this is a guy who is known for his crazy and ridiculous videos, for being in general a massive bellend, the frontline guy of YouTube controversy. I think there is so much that needs to be addressed in this series, and in general, the psychology of Jake Paul needs to be addressed because we haven't seen that yet. For example, there was a situation last year of where Jake Paul actually accused another YouTuber, FaZe Banks, of assaulting his assistant, and now that all turned out to be a complete lie. He backtracked, he apologized, but what I really want to know is, what was the psychology behind that? What was going on in the mind of Jake Paul? Because it's really confusing to me. Is he in general impulsive? Is he just ridiculously crazy for popularity? It's really strange to me what actually goes on in that mind. And that is what I think this series is going to be about. I think it's going to be explaining why Jake Paul actually does all of the bad things that he's done in the last year, why he wants to be in the center of controversy, because I can understand YouTube views are great. Everyone loves YouTube views, but to the degree of Jake Paul, the things he does, it's really crazy. The whole psychology and perception of Jake Paul is something right now that we can only take at face value because no one has ever gone behind the scenes with him before. Nobody knows what this guy actually gets up to. And I think the reason the series is 8 parts long is because there is just so much to get through. There is so much history there and probably reasoning to why he does these things. So before I go into anything else in this video, I just want to say to the people that have been criticizing Shane Dawson, just give him a chance. If you don't like this series after it, then fair enough, you can say you hate it. But right now, I'd just say give him a chance and see what happens. And honestly, I don't think Shane Dawson really has a bad track record with these sort of things. With the TanaCon series, I fully believe that he was quite harsh on somebody that he considers a good friend. So why would he not be able to do that with Jake Paul? Somebody who I don't believe he's actually met before this series, somebody that he's not actually friends with. I think he's going to be as harsh as he wants to be. Now, moving on from that, there is a certain possible situation which really hasn't been spoken about much. The situation of Shane Dawson possibly ending Jake Paul's career. Now hold up, put the balloons away, put the champagne away. It's only a possibility, but it's something which really could actually happen. Now the reason I believe this and a few others believe this is because this series could actually expose Jake Paul. Now the reason I believe this is because this series is going to show the world behind Jake Paul, behind the camera. Sure, right now we all currently know him for being a terrible person, for being a bully in high school, for constantly exposing himself accidentally, but what if he's actually worse than that? Because in the last 2 years, there have been constant allegations going around towards Jake Paul for bullying people in Team 10 and even bullying people back in the older days of his past. A few allegations towards Jake were proven, but right now, a lot of them are still up in the air and are up for debate. But what if the clips behind the scenes that Shane has recorded just show that Jake Paul is an impulsive asshole? Because we don't know the ins and outs of what goes on behind the camera. There has always been this debate of if Jake Paul is actually who he is on camera, off camera. And I personally have some questions for Jake Paul, which hopefully can be answered from this series. Now the first question I would have for Jake Paul goes back to a situation I previously mentioned with the false allegations towards FaZe Banks, so I'm just going to briefly explain that situation. In August 2017, Jake Paul uploaded a video titled "My Assistant Was Assaulted," and in this video Jake and other members of the Team 10 gang basically accused FaZe Banks of assaulting Jake Paul's assistant, as the title says. And none of this was for a diss track or for a joke, it was all pretty serious, so I'm just going to roll the clip now and you can see how extreme it really was.
Meg was assaulted by a man last night who is in the same like community and space as us, and it's not like, if you guys see, like she literally has a bruise. I don't know if you can see on camera, like here, not to be like dramatic, but like she literally has a bruise on the side of the whole entire neck.
So I was out with friends last night and we saw someone that we recognized because he is in our same work, and I didn't really know whether or not it was him at first because he has a girlfriend and he was making out with this other girl that I knew wasn't his girlfriend. So at first I was confused, but then I realized it was definitely him. And we went about our night and I went to the restroom and got lost because I'd never been there before. And when I was leaving, he sort of clotheslined me and put their arm out in front of me and tried to like pull me into the place that they were, into his table.
Now all of this turned out to be fabricated bullshit and Jake Paul eventually backtracked, but this is something I've really never forgiven him for, and I think most of the community haven't either. My question for Jake here is, why did you actually do this, and did you force your friends to get in on this? Because honestly I don't know if Jake Paul is just in general an impulsive idiot or if he's some form of Joker-esque character who just really wants anarchy on YouTube. Most of the time Jake does just come off as an ignorant asshole, and you really can see it in this clip here.
What the hell is going on in there?
Hi.
Man, can you put this on vlog, please, bro?
Yes. Where are you from?
I'm from Kazakhstan originally, but
It sounds like you're just gonna blow someone up.
It sounds like you're going to blow something up. Now, I'm not an SJW character, but I can clearly see this joke or comment as pretty fucking ignorant. I don't believe Jake Paul is a racist. I think he's an idiot, but I don't know if these things were deliberate or he just wasn't thinking. There's so many questions I have about this and his mind. Another question I would have with Jake Paul is, are all of his videos in which he clickbaits Ninja, releases diss tracks, are they also he gets covered on Drama Alert by Keemstar? Because at sometimes it really does seem like that. I really can't work out if this guy is some evil sociopathic character who just wants to dominate YouTube, because sometimes he does just seem like an idiot, but then sometimes it does seem like he is evil, especially when he takes 20% of his friends' revenue. Why would you do that to your friends? And why would you apply such strict rules on the Team 10 house?
So then we move into the Team 10 house and he creates these rules for everyone. If you're not up by 10 a.m. filming, then like you get fined $50 and like you have to pay $50. Like no alcohol at the house, or you get fined $500. No smoking. Every single guest that you had over had to be approved by Jake. Niels would always ask to have friends over. He's like, yeah, that's fine. But the second I asked to have like a guy over, he would be like, no, absolutely not. And I'd be like, why? He'd be like, I just don't want him here. But then he would have girls over like all the time in front of me.
It really does seem like dehumanizing stuff to be in Team 10. It seems like you have to sacrifice a lot of your ethics, and Jake Paul clearly has done that. He seems very unethical to charge his friends for ridiculous things. Now I fully understand how business works, but with your friends it's a bit different. If I charged my friends £500 every time we drank alcohol, I'd probably be fucking bankrupt. Shout out to James Marriott. Now my final question for the series, which I hope will be answered, is Jake Paul proud of how he's achieved his success, despite all of the controversy? Just how he got there. Is he proud of that? It's not a snide comment I'm making. I'm just in general curious. Now moving away from the questions, my predictions for this series is that it can only go two ways. I personally believe that it can either completely ruin Jake Paul's career, or it just won't really affect him, and it more will just give a clearer insight on why he does certain things. I don't believe anyone that hates Jake Paul currently is going to start loving him, because that's just a ridiculous claim. I don't think there is any way he can redeem himself. Now a lot of people are wondering how this series is actually going to work. Now I personally believe the first episode is going to be like the first episode of the Tanacon series, of where he interviewed somebody, a friend, a colleague, another YouTuber. I think they'll discuss Jake Paul and the things he's done in the past, and then gradually move more into the series like he did with Tana Mojo, and eventually meet Jake Paul. I do hope we're going to see some familiar faces on the series, such as Alyssa Violet, possibly FaZe Banks and Nick Crompton, and I also hope we're going to get more of an insight into Jake Paul's dad, Greg Paul, because because Greg Paul is one of the most questionable men on social media because of the things he's done, and some of the things he's been accused of are just in general quite terrible. I know this video has been long, but there are 8 parts to the Shane Dawson series, so I think it's quite understandable, to be honest. There is just so much to cover here and so much to talk about. In conclusion, I do believe that there is a very good chance that Shane Dawson could actually ruin Jake Paul's career with Jake's impulsive actions and possibility of him slipping up on camera when Shane's recording. I would love to know your guys' thoughts on the series. If you're still upset with Shane after this video, just let me know in the comment section. You can also let me know your thoughts at Twitter at iNabber TV, but the best place is to actually let me know your thoughts at Instagram at iNabber. On Instagram, you can pretty much send me questions and ask me anything you want, especially about this series, so go ahead, all links are in the description. And before I end the video, I would like to thank my Patreons. Big thanks to Alice, Anna, Arista, Bugger Badger, Charmscott, Creepypasta Rob, Cubesum, Dinky Dino, Elle, Evelyn, Hannah, Henry, In My Shoes, Enochi, Jessica, Joe, Catherine, Lisa, Majestic, Michaela, Mary, Maya, Max, Mel, Michael, Michelle, Nicole, Olivia, O'Reilly, Regan, Rockstar, Sadie, Scrubby, Celestina, Speedybird, Tonji, Tristan, Uncle Tid, 05, Zombie Salsa. Thank you so much for coming to the Patreon. You guys are heroes for still sticking around. The Patreon rebrand is coming today, I'm pretty sure today, yeah. So thanks for watching the video, thanks for pledging to the Patreon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.